Imagine a monument of impossible beauty, built not only with brick and mortar, but with the lives of thousands of people. You think you know the story of the Taj Mahal, but what if its real foundation was a brutal truth? In less than 15 minutes, you'll discover how the symbol of eternal love was also a machine of power, money, and suffering. Stay until the end, because you will understand the hidden cost that almost no one tells you about, and an imperial decision that changed the fate of an empire. Welcome to Lost History, where you learn without getting bored. Look at the white dome floating over the Yamuna River. Marble that looks like snow, calligraphy reciting verses, symmetrical gardens like a geometric dream. The Taj Mahal seduces quickly. It's easy to fall for the legend of the perfect temple of love. But here comes the uncomfortable part. Beauty and cost rarely walk hand in hand without tension. Behind the radiance, there was mass recruitment, inhuman workdays, accidents, debt, and imperial propaganda. If you only see the postcard, you miss the real story. How did a tomb become a political message? And an economic burden that weighed on thousands of backs. We aren't here to destroy the beauty, but to see it completely. Because if you ignore the shadows, you repeat the Disney version of history. Everything shiny, nothing complex, and the world doesn't work like that. What's incredible comes now. In a moment, you'll discover the optical trick that makes the carved letters look the same size. And what that trick reveals about the mind that designed the mausoleum. The year is 1632. Mumtaz Mahal dies in childbirth. Shah Jahan is left devastated. He decides to build her a mausoleum that defies time, an earthly mirror of paradise. So far, the romantic narrative works. Love, lyricism, eternity. However, the second layer says something else. An emperor at the height of his power uses architecture to immortalize his dynasty. The marble doesn't just cover grief, it screams authority. The orders go out. Messengers arrive in provinces, caravans on dusty roads, barges sailing the Yamuna. They need stonecutters, carvers, inlayers, calligraphers, masons, carpenters, blacksmiths, transporters, cooks, and administrators. Tens of thousands. The blueprint seeks symmetrical perfection, the terrifying scale of the sublime. It's not a building, it's a system. The white marble, brought from quarries famous for their purity, like those at Makrana, travels in enormous blocks. The stones are cut with mineral patience. The faces of the marble are polished until they become mirrors. Then comes the magic of pietra dura, inlays of lapis lazuli, carnelian, jade, onyx, turquoise, flowers that do not die, colors that do not fade, an eternity of stone. But that eternity demands bodies, long days under a vertical sun, primitive tools compared to ours. Wedges, hand-powered saws, pulleys, towering bamboo scaffolds. Dust invades the lungs. Hands split open into cracks. There's no helmet, no harness, no paid rest.
Watch your
How
step,
many
brother.
suffered accidents?
He is badly hurt.
Many.
Make way.
The chronicles speak of deaths, infections, broken bones. An infinite project consumes time, lives, and resources without compassion. The music of the myth is interrupted by a question that isn't asked enough. What would you do if your emperor summoned you to such a work? Refuse and risk punishment? Except for bread and prestige? Hope to learn a trade that saves you from hunger. History isn't black and white. It's the full range of grays. Did you know this? The black inscriptions bordering the main Iwan appear to have letters of the same size from the ground. But it's not true. They are calculated to look uniform from the observer's viewpoint. Meaning, the Taj isn't just marble. Its optics, perception, and psychology apply to architecture. If the visual message is controlled this well, imagine the level of control behind every single work shift. With grief as the official story, logistics grow like a silent monster. Rations, wages, when they exist, Supervision, accounting,
Together now.
transport,
Pull. Heave,
cargo
man,
elephants
heave.
to drag,
Watch the ropes on the
oxen
left.
to
Keep
push,
moving.
crews to haul. Time is
right,
measured
men.
in blisters.
Keep it moving.
Eternal love,
We must
yes,
finish this
but
section
also
today.
an imperial factory that never stops.
Raise the
Let's be
marble.
clear,
Steady tension on the
the
ropes.
Taj Mahal was possible because of the brutal coordination of ancient engineering. The chosen plot borders the Yamuna riverbed. Unstable ground, water nearby, risk of floods. The solution? A gigantic platform and a network of deep foundations, foundation wells, fillers, and casings which act like piles to stabilize the soil. Translation: before you can raise beauty, you have to tame the mud. How do you lift multi-ton blocks dozens of meters without modern cranes? With packed earth ramps that extend like serpents? With rollers, with pulleys, with human and animal strength?
Steady the block.
Imagine the sound of the effort. The creak of ropes, the beat of drums setting the rhythm, short commands to coordinate. One mistake, and gravity collects its tax.
Watch the ropes.
The scaffolds
Lift it
are vertical
slowly.
jungles.
And you.
Every plank is both a
Chiseling
promise
that
and a
stone.
threat. Climb, work, descend, repeat. Those who inlay stone, masters of pietra dura, draw impossible flowers on marble with gem dust. One crooked line ruins hours. The margin for error is minimal. The obsession with perfection, maximal. The Quranic calligraphy, the work of a recognized master, doesn't just adorn, it encodes the imperial faith into the stone. The letters, adjusted by perspective, turn the wall into a book that speaks to you from above. This might change how you see Islamic architecture. It's not just aesthetics, it's a visual grammar that orders the world. Now, the elephant in the room. Did Shah Jahan really order the artisan's hands cut off so no one could repeat the work? It's the most persistent legend and the least solid. There is no reliable evidence to confirm it. It's a useful fable because it satisfies a narrative hunger. Beauty demands blood. Reality is rarely as clean as the myth. Were there punishments? Yes. Mughal India was not a labor paradise. But the idea of mass mutilation as an official policy isn't supported by any serious documents. Here's the part almost no one tells you. The historical truth is usually less cinematic than the legend. And paradoxically, more unsettling. Let's talk about the cost. The exact figures dance around. Chronicles speak of enormous sums for the era, equivalent to the annual budget of several principalities. More than a number converted to modern dollars, always a misleading exercise. What matters is the opportunity cost. Years of labor diverted, crops not harvested by hands that were on the site, taxes rising upriver, entire workshops dedicated to the mausoleum. The Taj is like an economic gravity well. It pulls everything in. See the four towers, the minarets at the corners? They are very slightly tilted outward. If an earthquake topples them, they will fall away from the central dome. Preventative design in the 17th century. It's not an accident. It's calculation. It's long-term vision. Engineering that thinks about the worst-case scenario and diffuses it. Meanwhile, life in the workshops is not poetry. Infected wounds, fever, heat for those who carry, cold for those who watch the sunrise on the river. Separation from families, irregular payments, or advanced debts that chain them to the work. Romance? Yes, but on the margins. At the center, a machine that chews up human hours and spits out polished marble. In a moment, you'll find out why, years later, an emperor would fall to his own son, and how the Taj would become his final view. A stone window looking out onto regret. The Taj is completed after 2 decades of labor with overlapping phases. The gardens are arranged according to a paradise on earth layout. Canals that reflect the sky, trees that structure the symmetry. The axis of the world rests on a tomb. And yet, the man who offered it doesn't end his story in glory, but in captivity. Aurangzeb, Shah Jahan's son, takes power. The father, now ill, is confined to the Agra fort. From a window, he looks at the white dome that gleams in the distance. Legend says he spent hours contemplating it, as if searching within the marble for a door to Mumtaz. Is the scene exact, word for word? The chronicles vary, but the image works as a perfect symbol. The one who built a monument to defeat time ends up a prisoner of time, and of his own palace. Here comes the contrast that few want to look at head-on. The Taj is an artistic marvel, but it wasn't free for the empire. After its construction, war expenses, tax pressure, and complex administration squeezed Mughal society. You can't blame the mausoleum for everything. That would be an unfair simplification. But you also can't deny that absorbing skilled labor and resources for years had consequences. Beauty in politics is never innocent. Centuries later, the grounds degrade, and the jewels that once glittered in the inlays are plucked out by invaders and opportunists. Restorations arrive. Some British viceroys rearrange the gardens and fountains according to the aesthetics of their time. They clean what they see as decadent.
Gently now.
The Taj survives because its aura
It is almost
endures.
done, Supervisor.
What does
The
this
shine
tell
is
us?
returning.
That even the most beloved beauty needs constant maintenance and controversial decisions. Now, the ethical question, was it worth it? There is no universal answer.
Steady your hand
For the
down.
Mughal elite,
The fitting
it meant
must be
aesthetic
precise.
immortality. For the artisans, some learned priceless skills and passed down techniques. Others left their health on the scaffolds. For the people who paid the taxes, perhaps the emperor's beauty was a foreign luxury. What would you do if you were asked to support a project that beautifies your city but ruins your year? Here's the part almost no one tells you. The Taj isn't love versus brutality. It's love with brutality. It's real grief also used as politics. It's marble that shines because there were hands that bled. It's humanity in its most contradictory version, capable of creating the sublime and at the same time ignoring those who make it possible. Let's recap with no anesthetic. Shah Jahan turns grief into a total project. Mausoleum, garden, propaganda. The Taj is elite engineering. Foundations for unstable ground, ramps, scaffolds, optical perspective, minarets tilted for safety. Pietra dura turns stone into tapestry, gems into immortal flowers. The workforce sustains the miracle. Exhausting days, accidents, separation, unequal pay. The exact cost figures are hazy, but the opportunity cost is crystal clear. Resources diverted for years, social pressure. The legend of the cut hands is seductive because we like cruel fables. Solid evidence does not support it. The legacy is a paradox,
Lift, brothers.
a
All
global
together.
symbol of love and, at the same time, a reminder of the human price of greatness, your reward for staying until the end. Now you know how to read the Taj like a text of stone. You won't just look at its dome. You'll see the optical trick in the calligraphy. You'll understand the seismic prudence of the minarets. You'll imagine the invisible ramp the blocks were carried up. You'll hear, with new ears, the silent choir of the workers. If you ever visit the Taj, pause just before the main arch. Breathe. Look at the gleam of the marble and think of the human pulse behind the polish. Beauty and horror can be born from the very same strike. That is the truth behind its construction. If you like these deep dives where you learn without getting bored, like this video and subscribe to Lost History. Every day, a historical journey with scenes you won't forget.